only admits the best. Therefore, as your teacher, I have 3 jobs. 1, to help you do your best work. 2, to help you do your best work more often. 3, to get out of your way while you do your best work. 3 is my favorite, because it's like I'm getting paid to sit around and watch great artists perform. It is the epitome of decadence and laziness. You will help me be lazy, won't you, dear children? We promised we would. And today, we were proving it. The musicians rocked. I mean, they absolutely shredded, and if you've never heard someone shred on the xylophone, kid, you're missing out. The tragic soliloquies made it hard to breathe. On the lighter side, the funny acts cracked us up, especially Ventriloquist Girl. That puppet had me believing she really was stupid. Wide-Align's bow staff routine was even better than the preview I'd seen. I seriously didn't know you could move a bow staff all around your body that fast. She was better than Darth Maul. She was like Darth Blender. Every time she yelled, "Kah!" everybody in the audience slid back in their chairs an inch. For her finish, she did a 720 in the air and broke her stick over her knee. I think the whole audience passed out for 3 seconds after that. Once everybody recovered, Wide-Align got a standing O. She was definitely going to be tough to beat. Even Beret Boy was better than I thought he'd be. He was still nervous when he got up in front of the class, so I wasn't expecting much. As an introduction to my work, he said, fumbling with his laptop and the projector he was connecting to it, I'm showing you today the trailer for a feature-length documentary/philosophical meditation on a topic that, well, has defined me. It's called Splitting the Atom. I'm Adam. It's about my relationship to wedgies. I have never seen so many wedgies in a row. How he captured them on film was beyond me. Frame after frame showed poor Adam getting every single kind of underwear torture that evil school children have ever invented. All your old favorites were there. The atomic, the Melvin, the forklift, the hammer throw, and the old glory, which left Adam hanging by his undies from the school flagpole as the camera sadly panned away. But the trailer also featured a few I'd never heard of. The Perseus, where the bully rips the underwear all the way off and holds up the ripped briefs in his hands like the head of Medusa. The Tighty Whitey Crotch Canoe, where 2 people work together to wedgie and Melvin you at the same time. Can I get an ouch from the audience, please? And in the name of all that is holy, why, the Double Dutch, where 2 people already crotch canoeing you swing your underwear around like a jump rope and take you on a magic wedgie ride. I think the whole class clenched their butt cheeks through the entire trailer. But we knew quality when we saw it. Applause was muted, but sincere. 2 performances to go. Me and the person who was going before me, Gabi. As Gabi ran up on stage, I noticed that she had changed t-shirts for the performance. This one was forest green, and the quote on it read, "There is no God higher than truth, Mahatma Gandhi." She changed her barrettes too. Instead of Shaolin monks, her head was now filled with what looked like huge eyeballs inside of magnifying glasses. Unlike Adam, Gabi stood at the lip of the stage like someone who'd never had stage fright in her entire life. "Hi, everyone," she began cheerily. "We've seen some terrific performances today, haven't we?" The crowd whooped and cheered. Clearly, Gabi had a lot of friends in the audience. That shouldn't have surprised me. Obviously, she'd had enough friends to get elected student council president, but I admit I was caught a little off guard. Music, theater, dance, she went on, and every single one a great work of art. But I am here to switch things up a little. Instead of performing a work of art, I am going to demonstrate a work of cutting-edge science. Gabi signaled to Mrs. Walkhead, who did something on her phone. Music started. The kind of happy, silly, spanky pop you'd expect to hear at the beginning of a cartoon for 6-year-olds. Gabi jogged over to the cart where the projector and computer were, rolled it downstage center, plugged it in, and fired both machines up. The same big blank wall on which we'd cringed through splitting the atom now showed what kind of looked like a live heart monitor at the hospital. You know, a black background with a green blippy dot that jumps around every time your heart beats. Only the green dot wasn't blipping at all right now. It just was hanging out in the center of the screen, while at the bottom, a digital readout read the current time. At the top of the screen, in blocky, capital letters, were the words, "Lie detector!" Just below the title were the words, "True!" and "Pants on fire!" Each word had an empty black box next to it. Gabi went upstage to grab the gurney and drag it downstage left. Once she'd set the brake, she faced the audience again and, smiling saber-toothily, said, "Until recently, lie detectors were pretty terrible. Polygraph tests were so unreliable they were almost never able to be used in court. The problem was that the old polygraphs measured things like your heart rate and how sweaty you got. But a lot of people can lie without breaking a sweat. To make lie detection actually work, you have to go to the source of where lies come from, the human brain." Gabi picked up a weird-looking helmet that was sitting on the gurney's pillow and slipped it over her head. It must have been wirelessly connected to the computer because the green dot on the wall jumped up and down, leaving a trail of glowing scribbles behind it. When you're telling the truth, you're using your memory, and this helmet here knows it. For example, lighting here. For example, I had cereal and milk for breakfast today. Next to the word "true" on the screen, a green check mark filled the box, and a ding dinged. Gabi strolled to the stage with her hands behind her back. If, on the other hand, you decide to lie, you have to use your imagination, and this helmet can detect that you're using the creative parts of your brain. For instance, I had hippopotamus burgers for breakfast. Next to the word "pants on fire," the box filled with an X, and a buzzer went "bleh." Gabi sat down on the stage, took off the helmet, and let her feet dangle off the edge. We're all here to study acting. If you want to be a great actor, you have to convince the audience that you're telling the truth. So my question to you, fellow classmates, is this. Can you defeat a lie detector that can read your mind? She shot to her feet and bent toward us, leering. "I will need a volunteer." So, guess, how many people volunteered to have Gabi read their brains and expose their lies to the whole world? The answer, you're not going to believe this, is everybody! Well, everybody but me, but I mean, kids were waving their hands in the air, jumping out of their seats, yelling, "Pick me, pick me!" While I sat on my hands, everyone in class was dying to have Gabi lie detect them. Even Mrs. Wackett had her hand up. But Gabi's eyes were locked on just one person. Salvador Vidon, thanks so much for volunteering. Let's give him a round of applause, people. Chapter 9. I've done some reading about lie detectors. Magicians are obsessed with beating them. They've come up with all sorts of tricks to fool them. Bite your tongue, put a tack in your shoe, overreact to the easy questions, etc. But all the lie detectors I'd researched were the old school kind. I didn't know a thing about Gabi's brain reader. What choice did I have? If I refused to be her guinea pig, everyone would assume I had something to hide. The brujo rumors about me would spread through the school faster than lice. So, I bounded up to the stage like a happy, stupid dupe who thinks having all your secrets exposed is the most fun thing in the world. I waved at the audience, and as they applauded, thought fast about how to confound the lie detector. It took me only a few seconds to figure out 3 possible outcomes. 1, the lie detector was real. If I didn't tell the truth, everyone would know. 2, it was fake, and Gabi was just having fun. It was all just a comedy act disguised as science, and if I didn't play along, I'd look like a bad sport. 3, it was fake, but Gabi was going to pretend it was real. She was going to try to fool me into talking to her because I had refused to talk to her before. Whichever of the 3 was right, the audience wouldn't know for sure. Some people would believe it was real no matter what, and some people wouldn't no matter what. But all of them would be watching me and judging me based on how I reacted. In other words, the only real lie detector on stage, the only one people would really trust, was me. Now I knew what to do, for I am a showman. Gabi looked at the audience as she welcomed me on stage. Thanks so much for being my victim. Oh, I mean volunteer, Sal. I wasn't sure you would. I couldn't help but notice that you were the only person in the entire class who didn't raise his hand. Why is that, Sal? Man, right for the jugular right away. All right, Gabi, want to play rough? Let's go. Because we both knew you were going to call on me, I replied, more to the audience than to her. Oh, and why is that, Sal? Because I made a fool of you earlier today in front of Principal Torres, and that made you angry. The audience. I wasn't angry, she replied, and whether she flipped her hair because she felt irritated or because she thought it'd be funnier to look irritated, I couldn't tell. So I pressed her. You don't like to be fooled, do you, Gabi? You're dying to know how I do my tricks. The audience oohed even more oohily. I had to hand it to Gabi. She laughed, took my jab in stride, and kept the show going. So, you're up here to tell me and the whole class how you pull off your tricks? Isn't that like against the magician's code? Oh, I'm going to answer your questions, I replied. And then stroking my chin, I added, we'll see if your machine can sort truth from magic. This is great, said Mrs. Wackett over the applause. Did you two plan this? Music, Mrs. Wackett, said Gabi, giving her the hand signal repeatedly. Oh, right, sorry, Gabi. Got caught up in the act. The same goofy music as before started to play through the speakers. Gabi whooshed over to me and made some dramatic hand gestures that meant she wanted me to lie down on the gurney. I did. Then, twirling like a ballerina the whole time, she made her way back to the helmet on the floor and picked it up. She did a mini interpretive dance with it, lifting it in the air as if it were ye old magic helmet that the prophecies hath foretold. Then she bounded over to me, half dancer, half clown. She raised my head with one hand, slipped the helmet on me, then gently guided my head back onto the pillow. Spinning again, she came to a stop downstage center, right next to the projector, exactly when the music ended. I looked at the monitor. The green dot had started scribbling my brainwaves on the screen. You're alive, Sal, Gabi said, facing the audience. Everything you say will be judged by my lie detector. Are you ready? Do I have a choice? I asked. Because, see, a question isn't true or false. I wanted to see if I could fool the machine with tricky wording. The machine didn't respond. Please don't answer questions with questions, Sal, said Gabi, all smiles. Are you ready? Let's do it. Which also isn't a true-false reply. The machine, again, did nothing. Also, please actually answer the questions I ask you, Sal, Gabi said sweetly. Yeah, Sal, came a dude's voice from the audience. Stop trying to beat the machine, said a girl's. Mrs. Wackett prompted, yes, and... Which, of course, Gabi knew. She was counting on the fact that I had to go along with her no matter what. Now, are you ready? Asked Gabi, smug as a sandwich. I said, no. The green check mark appeared with a ding next to true. Perfect, said Gabi. First question, is your name Salvador Vidon? Partially, I replied. Ding, went the truth. Will you please state your full name? No. If you had middle names Alberto Dorado, which by the way means golden elf boy, you wouldn't share them either. Then, as if I hadn't meant to say that, I slapped my hand over my mouth. Ding! Ha 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 ha! Said everybody. Thank you for your honesty, said Gabi, finally deciding to laugh along. Next question. What color is the sky? I grabbed my chin. Ooh, that's a tough one. It's blue a lot of the time, unless it's covered in clouds, which can be white or gray or almost black. But in the morning, or when the sun's setting, the sky can be yellow or orange or purple. The dot on the screen was jumping around like butter on a hot pan, scribbling all over the place. And one time, just as the sun disappeared into the sea, I could swear the sky turned a glorious green for like 2 seconds. I'd never seen a green flash again, but I would like to. It looked like the sunset on a strange alien world. It was so beautiful. Very fine, said Mrs. Walkett, tearing up and patting her chest. Absolutely poetical, Sal. Meanwhile, everyone was watching to see what the machine would say. The green dot slowed and slowed until it returned to normal. The power indicator light on the computer showed the hard drive working hard to try to process my answer. Finally, the red check mark appeared next to pants on fire. How is that false? Said Mrs. Walkett. It was inspired. Gabi nodded and shrugged it as if to say, welp. He was using the creative parts of his brains. You're really enjoying this, aren't you, Sal? Yes, I am, I replied. Blat! Went the buzzer, and the red X appeared next to pants on fire. That got the biggest laugh so far. All right, said Gabi to the audience, rubbing her hands. Here's the main event, the question I've been dying to ask you. How did you, Salvador, Alberto, Dorado, Golden Alf Boy Vidon, get a chicken into Yasmani Robles' locker earlier today? Oh, yes, said Mrs. Walkett, clapping. That's been all the gossip in the teacher's lounge today. I cannot wait to hear your answer, Sal. I smiled. Well, here goes everything, I thought. I ripped a hole in the space-time continuum and borrowed a chicken from another universe. The computer didn't have to think at all this time. Ding! It sang, and a check instantly filled the box next to true. What? I was in the mood to be helpful. I said I ripped a hole in the space-time continuum! Sorry, and borrowed a chicken from another universe. Cha-ding! The audience tittered, the way you do when you don't quite know what to say. People started whispering and murmuring back and forth with each other. Gabi, grumbling to herself, went over to the computer and started fiddling with it. This is impossible, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Oh, but it is, I said, rising from the gurney and walking downstage with the same slow toe first step I'd used back when I'd played Puck in a children's production of A Midsummer's Night's Dream, speaking directly to the audience. For we are not alone in this universe, my friends. Ding! There are countless other universes above and below our own, like pages in a book. Ding! And it is my gift and my curse to see these other worlds. Ding! And if the circumstances require, to take the things I need and bring them here. Ding! So, when that robeless boy threatened me, and no one came to my aid in my hour of need, and yes, I saw people in this room who were there, watching as Yasmani meant to beat me up, and you did and said nothing. For shame! Ding! In desperation, I searched the multiverse for a means of escape. Ding! And then I saw, oh, that dear, delicious miracle that tastes so good with buffalo wing sauce. Ding, 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 ding! I reached through this veil between universes, ding, and I stole a chicken from another place and time, ding, and stuck it in the Yasmani Robles' locker, ding, and was saved. Ding! The last ding echoed over and over the room, quieter every time, so silent had everyone fallen. Gabi walked downstage to stand right next to me. I kept facing the audience, smiling like a jester. But she looked at me when she asked, her voice thick with wonder. Sal, what did you have for breakfast this morning? I pretended to think for a moment, but I already knew my answer. Hippopotamus burgers. Blat, went the computer, because my pants were totally on fire.